we are going to go through some of our X-Men and Marvel toys that we've had for a while. So, here's an X-Men thing. It is the Uncanny X-Men Valentine's Day cards.
Oh, by the way, I'm Boxy. Hello.
And here's these Valentines right here. They cost $1.79 at one point. They're all sealed up still. Kind of smushed a little bit in their box. But
Smoosh.
those are back from the early 90s, 1992.
Imagine I handed that out in my class.
You've already handed out some old ones before.
Oh, yeah.
And then we've got one of the X-Men Look and Find books. That's also from the 90s.
I think I have that in my room, possibly. One of those. It looks like that.
Okay, and then we have a few figures that are in their container still. This is the Storm, that's from the Water Wars series. Kind of one of the later series from maybe like 95 or so. And there it shows on the back, Nightcrawler, Sentinel, Wolverine, there's Storm, and there's Iceman. So it's kind of a cool set they could get and use in the water. They also had a headquarters, kind of a vehicle sort of a thing. That's the Water Wars Storm. Probably a lot of those got ruined with kids putting water in them and molding. And then we have Avalanche, that they're calling X-Force, but he was an X-Men villain a lot of times too. He had this little piece that kind of shot out of here, I think.
It says X-Men and X-Force.
Yeah, because they were all under the same toy line. I got these all at like a flea market. I think they were only like $2.50 or $2, something like that. So here's Exodus. He was in that.
Is that Cable
They
on
all
the
come
top?
with the cards in there. Yeah, there's Cable on the picture. And here's Cable. I got that from the guy at the flea market. It was quite a few years ago when I got it. So they're probably more than $2 now, I would imagine. And then we've got, this is from, I think I found it at a thrift store or yard sale or something. So it's kind of been opened before, but it's got a dinosaur version of Colossus and then a Savage Land Storm in there. And shows how the Colossus works. And there's Angel, and that feral Wolverine, and Joseph, back when they had that Magneto thing going on.
Who's that down there?
That's Kazar and his saber-toothed tiger. So we have that. And then
Maybe
we got
Kazar
this
and
one.
Sabretooth, and then it turned into Wolverine's
No, not that. So this was from, originally it looks like KB Toys, but this, I think we got a disc replay at one point because it was on sale. And that's Angel. Kind of a strange looking face. So we have all of these new ones here that are still in box. So we're gonna set these aside and look at some other things that are still kind of new. So pull all these out of there. And I think we might even have some more books somewhere. The problem with books is that there's so many comic books and stuff that we've been keeping separate as well, and so they're kind of mixed in with our comics, and then there's some novels I think that they made for a while. So it's kind of hard to know where we should put them because we have a big collection in a box here. So we've done those, but now these are some things that are somewhat recent, and they are the it's a version of the heroclix. So it's compatible with heroclix. It says it's made by Wizards of the Coast, who made like Magic and the Pokemon card game and stuff.
Gambit.
There's also Civil War. So heroclix was kind of a modern thing. Like this one was from the, when is it? 2016, like 2016, 2017, 2019, I think is that one.
So are these like cards?
These, there are some heroclix cards, but somehow we only have one
It's an X-Men
heroclix card. So these are kind of open ones. I don't know. This one came in like a cereal box or something.
Dungeons and Dragons, but
Yeah, it's kind of like Dungeons and Dragons almost, but it's like a tabletop game. So we've got Dr. Octopus. We got a Juggernaut. A Thing.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know this guy.
I don't know what this is.
This is from the Human Torch. He's supposed to go on top
Iceman.
of it.
Look at how big Iceman is.
Yeah, the Iceman one I think is from a slightly different set, but I think it works with the heroclix. So, yeah, he's bigger than the Thing. And here's Rhino.
Wait, what's his name?
This is Black Bolt.
There's
So I don't know a lot about like this guy. This
looks like
Gorgon.
Iron Fist, but he's not Iron Fist.
And then there's
Kerouac.
Triton here.
Kerouac, I
And
think.
here comes a spider.
Spider-Man.
Go away. We're in the basement, so we're finding spiders too. He thought he could be in the video, but he's not a hero click, and that's what we're doing right now. So let's see what's in the Civil War one. So this one, it shows a bunch of the characters. They're all kind of pushed into their holders a little bit. This one's kind of wonky. But there's a Punisher, and a Spider-Woman, She-Hulk, Green Goblin, and who's that last guy? Is it Plunderer? So I've got all of those. And then this one, I got at a thrift store, and I thought that it was maybe new. I didn't pay too much for it, though. I think I got it on sale. And it's supposed to have 4 little figures and then 1 colossal figure, but the only thing in there is the colossal figure, and it's like a big sentinel. So we got that too. We haven't played this game yet.
Maybe these
imagine
were in there, but they fell off.
This is like a card that tells you some of the stats and stuff.
Is this
So we'll
Juggernaut?
have to look it up. Yep.
Oh gosh.
So some of these, I think this came in like a cereal box or something at some point, a long time ago. I don't know, something strange like that.
I am the cereal box.
So that's all of the heroclix that we've got.
Oh yeah,
And
that
so
came
we'll
outside
put
my
these
cousin.
back.
A cereal box.
And so
No, there's a box.
let's
You know.
set these aside. See if I can get this guy back in here. I'm just holding the, keeping them in their packages for now. I'm not sure what we're gonna do with them. If we'll ever be able to actually play the game that it goes with. Imagine we need some more stuff, maybe rule books and different things like that. So here's all these. We'll put them back in here carefully. And these newer kind of guys that are still in their packages. If anyone knows where this one came from, let me know.
That's not in
I
the
feel
comments.
like it was a cereal box thing. Some kind of promo. Came with something. Not sure how we even ended up with it. Some of these things. And now we are kind of. Oh, we have one more thing that's kind of like those heroclix. We have a Punisher that's from an earlier series when it was like they were trying out that kind of stuff. And then some Marvel Legends Showdown cards are in there. But we have very few of these. And just this strange Punisher that's supposed to shoot a missile. Apparently that's kind of like a rare Punisher if people play that game, I suppose. And we've got some other things in here. We've got the X-Men Apocalypse Cup from Fandango Movies for some reason. We've got a couple Pizza Hut cups from when they did the Marvel superheroes. This is like an old X-Men mint tin. And then we've got the X-Men pogs in there. Obviously that's a 90s thing. And then we've got some other Marvel pogs and very generic Marvel slammers in there. So that's a few of those kind of deals that we have. And we've got Colossus's arm and the Xavier Institute.
Is that a display stand?
Yeah, that's a display stand that I ended up getting with a bunch of other stuff, and I didn't know what it was from. And so I finally looked it up, and it's from this Magneto kind of figure that stands on there. but we don't have the Magneto, so
Well, we just have to put on a different Magneto for now. Should we put him on?
So that's some of this other kind of stuff that we just have stashed away in the box. But now we can look at maybe some of the X-Men stuff that I saved. So I used to, I guess, be pretty good about saving my card backs. So that was obviously from Apocalypse, the Toy Biz card back here. And then they had the Steel Mutants that were the little metallic guys, which we actually have somewhere else. And we have some of our oldest figures, some of these ones, somewhere else too, because my plan is to put some of these on our comic book shelves in our stand. And then there's some old, I've seen pieces of these, bits and pieces at sales. I saw this Wolverine once with no helmet, no sword. But I was waiting for it to go on sale at a thrift store, I think, and it never did, so somebody got it. And then Magneto's got his little car, which we actually have in a box in the other room. We'll have to look at all these older ones sometime. And then Wolverine's got a goofy car that has his own face on it, which is very strange. So there were quite a few of these card backs that we got. So here's like Nightcrawler, and it tells you each person who you just got. It tells you a little bit about them. It tells you about Nightcrawler. This one tells you about the Juggernaut. And it's one of the earlier ones there. Mr. Sinister, Brood, Sunspot, this Cruel or K-Rule. I don't know if it's a K-Rule like Donkey Kong. There's Mojo. Here's a Gambit.
Mojo's fat.
There's a Gambit thing. And I had one circled that I wanted, it looks like. There's Ahab. There's Professor X. I bet a lot of these I got at KB Toys for pretty cheap. There's Rogue. Here is a checklist for a card series. I'm not even sure where this came from, to be honest. It's 1 of 48. So I don't know what that's all about. We might have to look at that with our cards later. Here we've got Sabretooth. That's like the second version, I think, of Sabretooth. Morph. Random. Cable. And it's one of the Cables. It's the 4th edition. They made a lot of Cables and a lot of Wolverines. There's Shatterstar, who I think I broke when I was a kid with a tennis racket. I didn't like him very much. I don't know how I ended up with him. There's Sauron.
Okay, how did you break him?
And here is the blueprints from the X-Men's Blackbird. And there's another instruction manual here. Maybe I should keep that nicer. It's all folded up strange. Here's some X-Men temporary tattoos. Not sure why these are in there. Nor where they came from 1993. Here's a Burger King thing from X-Men Evolution. I guess we should probably put that with X-Men Evolution toys. So we have some kind of random stuff in here. Now this is a Spider-Man card back, so it shows all the earlier Spider-Man toys. The Night Shadow Spider-Man. I think I was just trying to get like a regular kind of a Spider-Man. That one's got a web glider on it. I guess that superposable one would be the one you want if you want just a generic one. Yeah, they made a lot of different suits. So I ended up with the Night Shadow Spider-Man.
Wait, what one is that?
And here, this is from Maverick. So the card's got a little different towards the end. There's Havoc, Sunfire, Genesis, who was like Cable's son. There's the Blob. That was kind of a cool figure when it was squishy. Now it's a lot harder. Nimrod. Here's Storm. This is when they did the Classics kind of a series. So it says X-Men Classics said down the side. And they came with those kind of unique cards that we put with our X-Men 95 Fleer kind of cards. And there's Beast, Wolverine, Magneto, and I already had the Gambit. The Gambit was the other one that they made with the kind of remake, or I guess re-release series. And so I had to go and buy the cards separately for Gambit. And they did the light-up weapons, where I had Juggernaut. And here's a Omega Red 2, I guess. I don't know what made him different.
You know what that reminds me of? Omega Ruby Pokemon.
Okay. And there's the Phoenix.
I just said Omega Rex.
And here's the second Archangel and Executioner. So I was buying a lot during this time period. There's another light up weapons. That one's Psylocke, because that was like the first Psylocke you could get. Lady Deathstrike. Bishop 2, which I probably would have preferred the first Bishop. That one had like a gray suit instead. And they were making still some vehicles. We have that one. I didn't have that big playset though. Probably would have liked a lot of these. There's Iceman 2. He was kind of cool. And then there's the bigger Colossus. Although I think this one's like a weird color version of Colossus. It wasn't like this his normal outfit. He was like his super villain kind of clothes still. And there's Jubilee from Generation X. And so now, let's see, I guess we do have one more random kind of thing. We probably are going to find a few random things.
Short?
So that is a strange, it's a strange shampoo bottle, which probably at one point had another piece. Otherwise, well, maybe not, because that would be his belt. I guess they just made it that way. Wolverine's supposed to be kind of short.
So weird. Wait, there's a hole in the very corner of
it's
it.
got cracked. I think it came with a lot of different things that I got from eBay at one point a long time ago.
Whatever you do, do not smell inside of that.
Maybe.
That's not
I
gonna
think
smell
this
good.
one was in there, so they made the giant size, super size kind of X-Men for a while too. And then they had all sorts of weird ones like this gold version. So we ended up with that, and we ended up with a Gambit, and he's in a bag because he's disgusting. He's got these flakes that come off of his, you can see it, it's black underneath, and then they made it look like leather by putting some kind of like substance on the outside of the black fabric, but it flakes off terribly, so this bag's just full of these flakes, and we didn't want it to get mixed in with everything else, so he is in a bag. So we'll put him over here, and I guess we can move away some of these cards. Maybe we'll see if we find some other parts to go with these guys. Papers. Alright, so we do have a couple bags. This one's like almost new. It's Penance from Generation X. That's still in the bag. And then we ended up with a lot of random little things. Random Spider-Man Pez dispenser, a random Storm. There it goes. She's in like a tornado. I think that's from Wendy's or something. Or Burger King, maybe. Speaking of Burger King, I'm pretty sure this is from Burger King. That's one of those X-Men Evolution toys. And it's supposed to have a stand, which might be in here. This one's a brand new one. And yeah, it says Burger King Kids Club. So it came with a disc that you could put in like a PC or a CD player, I guess. And then this one is Cyclops in there from that X-Men Evolution show. And that, we do have some more. This is that Marvel Superheroes thing, I think, along with Storm. This one is Jubilee. There's like this little light up kind of motorcycle. And speaking of those, I think this was a similar thing. That's the one that came with, I think, some of those kids' meals as well. And there's some random little superhero collector's guides and things like that. And they show you a lot more of the figures. And then they have these mini ones that go with these pocket comics. They're kind of like a Mighty Max. Hey, there's our Sabretooth, our gold Sabretooth. Looked a lot shinier back then than this one. It's kind of wearing away and getting shabby looking. But they had a lot of the big ones. There's that Gambit. They don't show his coat flaking off in that picture.
Oh, did this go to that Gambit?
No, that's something else. That's for the light up weapon. Alright, so there's a lot of the vehicles on the back. So I guess we can put this just in this pile of kind of papers. We ended up with some Black Widow pins when that movie came out. They're a little freebie from somewhere. And I'm seeing more little Happy Meal toys. This is Hobgoblin from probably one of the earlier Marvel toys. Yeah, here's another Storm. So we have two of those apparently.
Yeah.
I'll have to pare that down. But they did do, here's Wolverine. He had little claws that came out of the Blackbird for some reason, and he was sticking way out of the Blackbird. So they had some kind of silly McDonald's toys at that time. Yeah, it looks like we got another Hobgoblin.
And
It's got some marker on it.
Spider-Man.
Yep. My dad ended up helping me get a lot of those, I think, because he had a lot of Happy Meals to try to find those, since it was kind of rare to have any McDonald's type toys. And I really just wanted a normal Spider-Man, so this one was supposed to be like a flipping, it flips over to Peter Parker, which he might be stuck actually, or broken. And I painted the rest of his face because this is how he's supposed to look. It's supposed to represent like Peter Parker with his spider sense, and he flips around, so he's normal Peter Parker, and then he flips to Spider-Man. So of course I had to like make it look like it was just Spider-Man with a coat on for some reason. Yeah, that's Mary Jane's dress. That was for the girls, I guess. They gave her, and I was trying to do some kind of like uniform on her too, but because that's not a very fun toy to just clip on a dress. Doesn't gonna stay on very well. Yeah, there's Scorpion from that series.
Beep, beep.
It's another Happy Meal thing.
Great.
And then of course we have even more Pez dispensers that came out around that time. Now here's the Spider-Man, another Spider-Man car. I think one of these has been on. It's a different set. This is 96, and this one's 95. Yep, more Wolverine Pez dispensers. So we ended up with, probably gonna find some more of them too. Some of these just look like action figures, but they're smaller. And I think the Spider-Man that I wanted at the time, it was like the only one I didn't get, was just like a Spider-Man action figure, like a kind of a small Spider-Man action figure.
Hey, Dad.
What?
I think that this might haunt you for the rest of your life. More Wolverine Pez dispensers.
Yeah, so obviously
I
we've
swear,
got
I
like
will
a
see that in my
couple
dreams tonight. That will be creepy.
of those. They look pretty much the same, so maybe that'll be another thing that, because we're trying to look and see if we have duplicates of things while we're in here. But finally, later, I found the real Spider-Man instead of this one that I just drew Spider-Man's outfit on. So this is the one that everybody actually wanted from McDonald's, instead of like little cars and Peter Parker with half a Spider-Man face and Mary Jane with her plastic dress. These would probably be the best ones to get from McDonald's. It's like getting two little action figures, kind of. And that was right around the time the show came out. So it was very popular, and people were excited to find those. This is another piece of something. This one's from 2012, and it's got like a Hallmark looking, I think it is Hallmark. But this, I looked up at one point, it's like from a little Hallmark standee of some kind of Marvel stuff, Marvel toys. Oh, and here we have the lid from a Pizza Hut cup. That was back when Pizza Hut used to have good food. And you could get a personal pan pizza, and you would get a cup, and for a while they had cups and VHS tapes, which I still have upstairs. And you could get sometimes a comic. It's kind of a unique comic to the from Pizza Hut. Here's an older Hulk, one of the few Pez dispensers they had, I guess, originally. And we have an older Spider-Man one in here somewhere too. This is, yeah, there's the viewer. So this goes with Rogue, I guess. Hopefully that's the one she's supposed to be with. And you could look in there and see like a scene from X-Men Evolution. It just helps them stand up. And there's also a Human Torch, kind of like an action figure, that goes with one of those McDonald's sets. So a lot of those I got after the fact. I think the Spider-Man ones were the only ones I actually got when they came out. Some of those were quite a bit later. Here's a delicate kind of pack of X-Men cards. These are just playing cards, so it's like, you know, Cyclops is the king, and then Magneto is a 6, it looks like. Or is it an 8? For some reason, Bishop's a 10. So we used to play just cards with those. Regular 500 roam, and I guess you can play poker with them. Stuff like that. With those cards. And you can play Go Fish or any of those kind of card games. Because they are just normal cards. And there's some random little things like a Spider-Man ring that probably came off of a cupcake at one point. We've got things that they were trying to make be a thing. These little Marvel, they're like bottle caps. You can even click them. You're supposed to collect these, I guess. Avengers and Captain America are in here for some reason. And now we might be mainly down to the main event here. Here is some paperwork from Disney Movie Insiders. Oh, that's where this came from.
That's not the main event. Action figures.
So, it looks to be almost all of it. There's a head of Cyclops. Yet another one of these kind of things. I think at one point it shot discs or something out of the eye hole. It's kind of a weird thing. And I think we're finding that we're going to have a lot of these, a lot of duplicates. So we'll put some maybe to trade or sell away that we have duplicates of. So like we have 2 Wolverines apparently, and 2 of these Storms, and 2 of these Invisible Womans. 2 Hobgoblins, one of them's all marked up for some reason. So yeah, let's clear those out of the way. And then maybe we can look at the main thing that I collected back in the day. Oh, I guess there's a couple other little things. There's a weird Wolverine statue, and they're like metal. These are more modern. Some little metal Wolverine statues. So I guess we will try to put these on the side. I guess this is technically an action figure. So, trying to see where we have room. We're running out of room with all this stuff that we're piling up. A bunch of these. This Invisible Woman's kind of strange the way it works. We'll have to check those. We'll probably put it in the freezer and see what color change happens with it. I don't know. And then there's the Storms that we got too many of. Duplicate Wolverines. And some duplicate Hobgoblins, I suppose. These are technically duplicates, even though I ruined one with marker and stuff. Alright, let's see if we can get these all over here. I have a lot of stuff to put away when the time comes. But now we might just be filling up this area with some of, actually, those things. And get some of these McDonald's toys out of here. We'll probably have to go all the way over farther on that purple side of the mat. I'm using my daughter's gymnastics mat to show some of these. So obviously we had pennants. And then this one's in a bag too, because it is that goofy Wolverine where he turns into like a kind of blue werewolf type thing from the Monster series. I ended up buying that for pretty cheap at a toy show randomly around here.
Alright, so can I say something really quick? So I found this little like claw pinching thing.
Yeah.
And there's something in it and it's somebody's hand.
Yeah, that was probably on her hand at one point. Some of these figures are getting kind of in rough shape. So that's Lady Deathstrike. But here is Professor Xavier in his chair. And maybe he needs somebody else in a chair to sit next to him. He can have this big old Mojo whose legs are somewhere and his tail barely wants to stay up on there.
We're talking about chunky people, we can talk about chunky people.
Yeah, we'll put the Blob over here too. So the Blob used to have a squishy stomach, and now it's pretty hard. Still kind of a cool figure, but he's kind of a mess too. Here's a Thanos. I didn't have this originally. It's a 97, so it'd be kind of late for my stuff.
It looks like
a
the
little
comic
bit.
book version.
Yeah, all these are going to be more comic book and based on the cartoon. There's a big old Nimrod. I bet you I got him for $3 at KB Toys. The big old beast, the classic series, another real solid figure. Here's the Brood with the little flapping wings and the biting mouth.
This thing has been creeping me out the whole time.
Yeah, we got this one much later. That's like the Spider-Man when he mutated.
And look, he has tentacles coming out of.
He's got all the spider legs and everything.
Yeah, his underneath.
And here's the Spider-Man that I had, which was the closest thing I got, I guess, to a just normal Spider-Man. It's that night version of Spider-Man. Everybody used to have like a night version, like there was a night Wolverine, or like a stealth Wolverine where he was in like a darker uniform. Here's a Toy Biz. These are all like later kind of, I don't know if that was later, but that was other series that I didn't really collect. I was mainly just doing X-Men stuff. But we ended up with like a lot of these. Isn't that King the Conqueror? And so a lot of those just came with lots later that we got. So we'll have to check and see how those kind of fit in. And here's one that I did not have originally. It's that Sabretooth, and the panel is supposed to flip. There it goes. So he gets damage and then it heals, I guess. So that's like the first Sabretooth. His head doesn't really turn or anything. I'm surprised he didn't come out with the very first set. Looks like we have another, this one's a Venom that bites. That's from McDonald's too. But yeah, I'm surprised that Sabretooth didn't come out with the original kind of few X-Men and villains. He definitely looks older. But then this is the one that I had, which is kind of more accurate to the TV show and how the 90s Sabretooth looked. This one's much more like 80s. And then eventually they made this one with like plain clothes, which might have been, I don't know if that was supposed to be Age of Apocalypse, the longer hair. I guess we do have another Spider-Man villain. There's Kraven the Hunter. His face has some kind of marker junk on it, it looks like. I don't know where the heck that came from. I think that's another one that I just gotten a lot much later, because I had very few of even the Spider-Man or any of these kind of guys. Here's like an Iron Man of some kind, a green one. I'm not sure if that's like Iron Man or War Machine or what. It's another one that just kind of ended up in a lot with some other stuff. Speaking of Iron Man, this one I think is from Secret Wars, so it's quite a bit older. That's why it looks so small and kind of wimpy comparatively. I think this is supposed to.
Yeah, I saw another Iron Man
this.
somewhere, but I don't know.
It goes, yeah, it goes on the back. He's got armor that clips on. I don't think it glows in the dark or anything, but it's kind of like radioactive green. Somebody who likes Iron Man will probably be able to tell us better. And then we have another Kraven the Hunter. This one's in much better shape than this disgusting one. So I guess we know which one we should keep, huh? I should try to, I guess we'll probably end up giving that one to somebody since he's got marker goop all over him. And then I think at one point I did get this Shatterstar back. Again, probably just in a lot or something, because mine, I think, exploded into pieces. And in fact, I know he did because we still have his head.
Yeah,
That's one of the pieces.
What'd you do then?
He got all smashed apart. I think he got hit with that tennis racket.
How?
But I never really liked Shatterstar. He was like a strange X-Force kind of guy. There's that Omega Red that we saw.
Break a figure with a tennis racket.
And
how's that accidentally up?
here is Random, that very 90s kind of guy.
Random.
But as I recall, And we just got a few extra ones that if you've seen that other video, we found some random X-Men kind of guys at a yard sale. We have another random. Obviously this one's got his missiles in there, and this one doesn't. This one's head that looks a little more chewed up. But random, he's got a lot of like spots on the plastic because that white doesn't hold up well. This one's missing a thumb. So I think, again, I kept mine in nicer shape than whoever had this one. So there's another thing that's gonna need to go at some point there. And we have a few other things that I'm almost positive we're gonna find some duplicates of as we go along. Here is, it's kind of hunched over weird. Here's Strong Guy. He's got some real loose joints, I think just because he had this swinging arm action. We'll put him way over here. We got him from that yard sale as well. And there's a couple, I don't think I had him. And I don't think I had this one, who's in real rough shape. He's the Silver Samurai. And I don't know what they made him out of. He's got something rattling around. He's missing an arm. He's seen better days, I guess. So these kids really played with these hard. Here's Tusk. I didn't have him either. So there's quite a few that I don't remember having. So let's see what else we've got. I ended up with, like I said, oh, yep, we got these guys kind of separate too. Here's Carnage and Venom, and these are the
What's on Carnage's
older ones.
back?
It's got like a little grappling hook kind of a thing, so you can swing, I suppose. So we'll put those by the Spider-Man ones. That goes together. Here's that Lady Deathstrike that had her hand missing, so we'll try to plug it back in. It looks like there's a certain way it goes.
Was this built for her?
Yeah, and then that's supposed to go over her hand, like it transforms into it. So she's got some weapons like that.
Who's
And kind
this
of
guy?
rubbery hands. That's Spine. He came for free with
He looks familiar.
I think was it Genesis Cable's son, who is still somewhere in the box, I guess.
What does he look
Not
like?
sure where he got it. Oh, here he is. There he is. That's another one that was not really prominent in the show or anything like that, so it wasn't like a huge deal to me. So I don't know how I ended up with it. Here's a Cable, speaking of Cable. And at that yard sale, now this is like the first figure I ever got, I think, just because they were out of the normal X-Men. And at that yard sale, they had another one of these. So pretty similar. This one's got a beat up hand, I guess, and the heads are about the same, so maybe a little bit more worn. I'll try to, I guess, keep mine from when I was a kid. This leg looks a little bent. And then I got that Bishop. That was back when they were doing those recolors. And here's the original Bishop, although he's missing a ton of paint. Somebody really played rough with this one. It's like his nose is like worn away. And we have another Cable who's missing his entire leg. That's like the first Cable, those big old pads on him. And yes, they made a lot of Wolverines. So we've got the Patch Wolverine. He's got chewed up claws, it looks like. Some kid chewed on him. Here's the Spy Wolverine with the permanent kind of claws. Yeah, run out of room. Some other big guys. We've got Colossus. That's that weird colored one. And we've got our Juggernaut, who was the light up weapon. I'm sure that doesn't work anymore.
Another Cable.
Yep, there's the other
I
Cable.
like him.
He's kind of a cool one. I think that was the first one. Maybe this is like the second one. And there's like a space kind of one. So
Speaking of space cables, is space
let's
cable?
put this Colossus by the other one. This is the little wimpy Colossus comparatively, but it's I think they remade that one.
Dad, you're right. There is a space cable. In there.
Yeah, there's like a flying cable, a space cable. There's a whole bunch of cables. So we can put all those guys together next to
And
each other.
this is
Here's the normal Wolverine, the classics one. Nope, this is Maverick.
Oh.
So he goes in there. And Wolverine was a top character in a hot seller, so they had the Space Wolverine, which I ended up with one of those in the package still.
And they also had X-Force one, like where he's like...
This is when he was Weapon X, when they made him into Weapon X. And they had the electrodes on him. I think there's a couple different versions of that from KB Toys. There's a different one. And we've got... We'll pull this guy out. This is a much more modern Apocalypse. I don't remember where it says the year. Somewhere on his leg, probably. I don't know. I had to look this up at one point. It's got a lot more detail and stuff, and but it feels kind of flimsy in a way, almost like it's held together with rubber bands or something. Strange. But I ended up with that much later too. Came from a yard sale, I think, and that's part of Groot. I think it's one of those Build-A-Figures where you get a different piece in with different items. So that's quite a bit more modern than most of my stuff.
There's the dude that swings the
There's that Kroll or K-Rule or whatever he is.
Donkey Kong Man.
Yeah. Here is a Jubilee from later in the series. I think it's from like the Armor Wars or something. That's another one I ended up with way after the fact. Because this is the first Jubilee that I had. It's pretty dirty. I think the rubber catches a lot of paint. Had rollerblades with it.
Gambit.
Yeah, there's Gambit. Careful. He's got that kind of garbage bag material coat.
And a good duo.
Mm-hmm. There's the original kind of Cyclops. Well, not the original Cyclops because he had the hood.
See, he has his thing light up red. Does it still do it? Yep, it still does it.
Yeah, that's surprising that still works. And here's the Magneto. He does not work anymore. It's all frozen up. I don't like it.
Here's his cape.
Yeah, and there's his cape.
To make him look
So that was kind of a cool Magneto.
Iceman!
Yep, there's the Iceman and the Archangel.
He has removable, like, fists and hands.
Here's Long Shot. He was more popular in the 80s, but they had to make him because he showed up in the show. Here's Sunfire, his big long ponytail. Ahab. That was another one that was always on sale at KB Toys. There's Banshee. Took me a while to find that one. The big old hole in his chest. Yeah, you got Phoenix and then Rogue.
They're both the same person,
Keep
though.
Rogue wrong.
Wait, what? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. This is like Gideon or something.
Oh,
It looks ridiculous. I wouldn't have cared for him much. He ended up in some kind of a lot that I got. There's Sauron. Had to get him to fight with the X-Men. This is Sunspot. He had like a kind of a good action because he could punch and it turned him.
Storm!
You know, there's the Storm from the classic ones that look like the cartoon. There's Havoc. There's that Psylocke. That was the only version of Psylocke you could get for a long time. There's the White Queen, who became a bigger character later, but that was this Generation X White Queen. This is the Executioner. He had a removable hood.
Like this removable
This
hood?
is Chamber.
Is this removable hood?
Yeah, that's his hood.
See how he looks? Hood.
Here's a Corsair that I got that was chewed all to pieces by some kind of a dog or
Now
something.
here is him from the hood. I'm not with the hood.
There's Corsair, that's Cyclops' dad, but he's missing his feet and his hands. Somebody chewed him up real good. There's our Morph from the cartoon only. This is that Raza or whatever, I think, from like the Starjammer kind of thing. It's Mr. Sinister. And then last we got, this one I got much later too. This is that Cyclops from Age of Apocalypse, whereas I got cut up.
And we have a
Wolverine.
bunch of extra weapons
Yeah,
and stuff.
and then we just have a bag of weapons and stuff. Most of them are
And
probably in here.
a head because of the tennis racket
And the head.
incident.
So we have probably most of the weapons and things like that in there. A few random weapons and things. Yep, I still have a couple of my... So there's the Blackbird. So that was kind of a cool play set. That was all part
Oh
of.
no.
It's not very sturdy of a toy because it came apart like a play set. And there's the mini little Blackbird kind of thing. So yeah, that's about all of our toys, I think I got that one with Beast and maybe that classic Wolverine. So we got a lot of figures still. So we'll have to find a way to display them, at least the ones that I liked from childhood. But there they are. Big old pile. A lot of them.
More.